Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Big East Rewind. I'm Chuck Everson, your host from Villanova University, and my partner, as always, Sonny Sparrow, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, son?
I'm great, Chuck. We've been talking about this guest for a couple minutes, right?
Yeah, I mean, you
And we
talk
landed
about
him.
you
This
talk
is
about
exciting.
story. People tell me I have good stories. I mean, this guy, I'm not even come close to this guy. It's
Well, he's
unbelievable.
got experiences that people can only dream about,
He he's he's lived three lifetimes in one. I
right?
mean, it's unbelievable.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I've been excited
Just
to
make
have
sure he
him
knows
on.
that we're unfiltered and unedited, so he
Plus,
can say,
Sonny, he's a big man. He's a big guy.
listen, you can say whatever you want, Tom.
Plus, he's a big guy, and he's a Nova guy. Okay, so we got there's two pluses right there.
The trifecta.
The trifecta. That's correct. So without any further ado, let me introduce our guest today. Like I said, yeah, I'm excited to speak with him. He's got, some of the he's had some life in this game of basketball on and off the court. He was the original Nova Knick, Sonny. He played at Nova, one of the first African American players to play at Villanova, and he's an original Nova Knick. He's also has been in the corner of Smoking Joe Frazier at the fight of the century. He was also buddies with Wilt Chamberlain, and he was Richard Pryor's tour manager at one point in his life. Aside from all the basketball stuff on the other side of it. So
Yeah,
without any further
maybe
ado,
he's
let
got
me
25,000 Wilt stories.
let's go. That's right. Probably right. Probably right. Without any further ado, here he is, our guy, the original Nova Knick, my good buddy Tom Hoover. How are you, Tom?
I'm fantastic, and thank you very much, guys, for inviting me on.
Welcome.
Appreciate
Glad
it.
you're here.
Listen, we've talked on the phone a little bit, and just in the few, the small time I spent with you on the phone, I was like, well, I couldn't wait to hear more from you. So, um, and listen, right from high school, you played at Archbishop Carroll, right? In
Correct,
DC?
correct.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
you had some famous teammates. You played with Coach Thompson, right? And you played with Ed
Coach
Mallory.
Coach Thompson.
Well, we call him Coach. Listen, Tom, you have to give him the respect that he earned. I mean, come on.
We could call him Big
Coach
John. I think
Thompson. Yeah,
everybody knows
listen.
that is.
Thank
His
you,
guy,
Sonny.
his guys call him Big John. Yeah, right.
No, John and I played together along with George Leftwich and
Yeah,
um,
Ed Mallory.
yeah. Gee, had a minute of lapse there. But yeah, we had a pretty good ball club, I would say.
Now,
It
and these guys went on to other things. I mean, Ed was the president of Notre Dame at one point,
Yeah,
right? That's pretty
yeah.
cool. And then, of course,
John, you know about George blew his knee out, and I think his third year or second year at Nova,
right.
he played with Jim Washington and Wally Jones. So
Yep.
they would have won it. George would have made the league, no question about it. Other than for that injury, he definitely could have made it. But he decided he had another calling, and he went on and started coaching and became a very successful coach in the DC area.
Yeah. They named the gym after him over there in Carroll, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
that is great. I mean, they should have. He did a lot for the school, bought him a couple of championships. Um, he recruited some great guys that played there, and they gave back to the school. So yeah, they should have. There was something that was overdue. They should have done it.
That DC area, Tom, has been a hotbed for great basketball for forever. I mean, from when you played and before that, and right up
AP.
until current day. I mean, there's a lot of players. What is that considered the DMV, or is that PG County where that school is?
No, we were in the District of Columbia. You couldn't go, when I was in high school, you couldn't go to Prince George's County, Hyattsville, all those places out there. They were segregated. So there were no integrated schools. Our school was the first integrated Catholic school period in Washington, D.C. Um, and then came St. John's Prep, and then Mackin. Gonzaga had nobody, and that was just about it. There are a lot of schools there now, but when we were playing was Dunbar, Cardozo. There was no Wilson, Mackin.
Yeah.
So
There's a
yeah,
lot of good schools, a lot of good teams from back then.
yeah.
What was John Thompson like as a player back then? You know,
John was good always. I mean, back then he's passed, but even now, John was a good ball player. He could carry his own. I mean, we just had a great team, a
yeah.
great team. Yeah,
So I want to ask you about the integration process,
sure.
because you probably experienced before the integration and then integration. What were some of your experiences like on the high school or even the grammar school levels?
Well, grammar school level, we had our own community. We didn't.
Mhm.
There was no integration.
There was no mix. I got it.
No, there was no mix. um, I went to B.K. Bruce Elementary School, then went to Banneker Junior High School, and went into Dunbar High School. Uh, Elgin had gone to Spingarn. I knew about him from the newspapers, and used to watch him shovel snow off of the court in D.C. at Banneker and shoot baskets. And that was a trip. I don't know where you guys live now, but from where Elgin lived in Spingarn to come all the way into Banneker Northwest from Northeast, it would be like coming from Villanova going to Center City.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that was a trip for him, but that's what he did. So it was a good situation for us being athletes. Um, I felt that once I got to Dunbar, I was going to probably go on to college, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
But a guy came knocking on my door after I played in the tournament, and his name was Bob Dwyer. He said, "I
Mhm.
want you to come to John Carroll." And I said, "What is that?" And he said, "Oh, it's a great Catholic school." I said, "Catholic school?" I said, "I'm not, I don't want to go to Catholic school." And he said, "Okay." He talked to my mother. Next
That
thing
was
I
it.
knew, that was it.
Wow. So how did you make your way from Carroll to the main line at Villanova?
A priest called Father Shore. He taught mechanical drawing, which was a course we had to take at John Carroll. And I wasn't going to be an engineer, but the course was there and you had to take it. And he said, "I will give you a great grade if you agree to come to Villanova." He said, "Plus we can be friends because I'll be up there." And I had letters from Michigan and Ohio State, play football because I played football, baseball, and basketball. And I went out to, I guess it was Michigan, and they had spring practice, and just so happens it was a snowstorm. And I thought it was like 40 minus degrees out there on that field. And I was like, nah, I'm not coming out here.
Can't do that.
No. So I came back off a visit and went to school Monday and told Father Shore, I said, "Okay, I'm gonna go to Villanova."
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
about 12 or 15, I don't know. Elgin called and tried to get me to come to Seattle, and that was too far. Florida State, all of the HBCU schools, and very few NCAA schools.
Did you play for Alex Severance when you were there? Is that who was the coach at that time?
Unfortunately, yes.
Was
You
he
know
was he a
nothing
tough
about
guy?
Al. He
Listen,
was
the only thing we know about Coach Severance is he passed away the morning of our championship game,
okay.
in the hotel. So we never really got the history. So
Oh
was
wow.
was he a tough guy to play for, or was he what made him, you know, unfortunately?
No, he wasn't a tough guy to play for. It was just the tough situations that you were in. Um, you were fighting segregation and trying to play basketball at the same
Right.
time. We played in the NCAA, not the NCAA, the Dixie Classic in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
When we went down there to play those teams like Duke and North Carolina, you couldn't stay in the hotel. So he wasn't tough to play for. It was the tough situation that you had to deal with
Right.
getting there, playing there, and being on the court. So those were tough situations.
Did he look out for you guys at all? I mean, did they, when you go into a place and you're not allowed to stay, did he take the whole team and move the whole team, or?
Only guy that did that was Dwyer in high school. Uh, Monk's father, Father Malloy.
Yeah.
uh, Monk's father, we were going up to the ECAC in Providence, Rhode Island, and we stopped in the Howard Johnson. Um, and he got out the car and told me to stay in the car. So he got out the car, went inside and said, I've got a basketball team, blah, 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 blah. And they said, well, we don't serve black people. So he was the only guy that took the whole team, said, well, we're going to go find someplace else.
Right.
Um, I guess in college, the money was involved, so you wouldn't say, I'm going to take the team and move it if they can't stay, because we stayed on A&T's campus, and the other guys stayed at the Holiday Inn
Wow. Okay.
in Raleigh.
That must have caused. I mean, did that cause any kind of friction between your teammates and yourselves when stuff like that was going on?
No, you weren't conscious of the friction. The consciousness that you placed on things were the treatment that you were getting from the outside. Guys, you on the team, we're all right. But you had to deal with those outside elements.
Yeah.
We took the train down to Raleigh, North Carolina, and Miss Raleigh got on the train and welcome to Raleigh, because all the white guys were up front. We were in Bernie Chavis, myself. We were in the back, and Hubie White. And she
Okay.
got to me, and she turned around and walked off the train.
Wow.
And I said, you can't shake my hand and welcome me to Raleigh? So that you knew from the beginning that it was a bad situation.
How about in front of the crowds there? That had to be crazy too, right? I mean, you guys come into play wherever it was down south. It had to
Well,
be.
they played Dixie. They didn't play national anthem.
Oh,
They played I Wish I Was in Dixie.
wow.
And
Wow.
one thing I do remember is in that Raleigh tournament, Oscar played in it. We talk about this today. Um, they threw a noose out on the floor,
Oh my God.
and
Oh.
all you
Huh.
could hear was hee haw.
Wow.
And that is you look back on it, you laugh because of the ignorance of people.
Yeah.
But that's what we grew up. That's what we faced. That's what we dealt with on
That's
down
unbelievable.
there. No,
I mean,
it's not unbelievable. It's life. It's how people are.
well,
Even
yeah. I
even
mean,
today,
there's a lot of
people are the
stupidity
same
today
way
too.
today. Yeah, it is just they still wear the Klan. They still have the Klan concept in their mind. They just don't wear the robe. But it's
Yeah.
the same stuff. Nothing has changed.
Right.
Yeah, they
Same.
talk about crossing that Mason-Dixon line if things change.
Yeah, it changed, all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
Washington is as south as you're going to get. It was segregated. Uh, New York was the epitome of really being up north because it was a combination of everybody. You had Mexicans, you had black, you had Italians, you had Polish, you had everybody living in the tenement. So you had to get along. And everybody, kids played with each other. Everybody had to get along.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a total difference. Total difference.
Wow. I mean, so who were some of your teammates from back? Did you play with? I know I looked up some stuff. You were not allowed to play varsity. Freshmen had to play on the JV, right? So
Correct.
that was a whole different thing. We've never had that when I got there,
Yeah. Well, you're a
So,
young boy.
so did you cross paths with George Raveling, or did you guys
Sure.
play together?
Yeah, I saw him.
He was older or younger than you?
He's older than I am.
Yeah, yeah. That's another one. George, both Georges, we lost them both this year.
Yeah.
Those guys were tremendous. I mean, to get to see them at, especially, I saw Coach Raveling more than I saw Leftwich, but he was around a lot at Villanova, and especially when Jay was coaching, he was always around. So it was great to be able to talk to him about stuff. And Jay had him on his podcast, and he was talking about very similar situations that you were talking about with the segregation and how you guys were treated as when you went on the road, especially down south. So
Yeah. Well, George was a different temperament. He adjusted a little better than I did. Raveling. I'm not going to go for that. You're not
yeah.
going to spit in my face and tell me it's raining.
Yeah, I did my due diligence. I got that loud and clear when I looked you up and found some stuff about you, because Tom, I don't know if we told you, we do our homework here.
Sure.
We are.
This is not we turn the lights on.
Yeah.
This is,
Everybody does.
What are we?
That's not just another pretty face. That's what Chuck's telling me.
That's what he's, yeah, right.
That's for sure. I'll agree to that.
I knew I would like you, Tom. I know stuff. So okay. So now you leave Nova and you get drafted by the Sixers, because this is another story that it blew me away, and I guess they offered you a salary. I don't even know. Was it a draft at that point? You had only 8 teams, right?
It was 8 teams. You had territorial draft. So whatever college you went to at that time, that's the team that drafted you.
Okay.
So since I went to Villanova and was in the state of Pennsylvania, and the Sixers had Pennsylvania, I think Southern New Jersey, definitely Baltimore, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, definitely Baltimore, Washington. They had the rights, and that's how it came down.
So they scooped you up.
Yeah, they drafted me.
Okay. Now that was like one of the first years that they were in Philly, right? Where didn't they come from another?
They came from Syracuse. What happened is,
from Syracuse.
I was really
Syracuse
drafted
Nationals.
by Syracuse by the Nationals.
Okay.
And I knew I wasn't going to Syracuse because
Well, you weren't going to Michigan, so there's no way you're going to make it in Syracuse.
No, you got that right. They moved from Syracuse to Philadelphia and became the Warriors.
Okay.
The Warriors moved to San Francisco and became the Warriors. And the Warriors then became the 76ers.
Gotcha. Okay. So you come in. So tell the story. So they offered you X amount of dollars, whatever that was, and they offered
me $7,000. Yeah.
$7,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
a job.
And a summer job. Eddie Godley said, "I'll give you $7,000 and a summer job." And I was like, "Yeah, okay."
And the cigar?
And a cigar. I said, "Yeah, okay. So what's the summer job?" He said, "I got some friends that own a yellow cab company." I said, "You want me to drive a yellow cab?
Crazy?
Are you nuts?" He looked at me like, "What?" Because you didn't talk back.
Right.
And I was like, "Nah, you got it." So I ain't doing that shit.
No.
Just like that. And I got up and walked out.
Okay.
You don't know what a pleasure it is to play in the NBA. Yeah, okay. But
Wow.
Gottlieb had history. He had been used to dealing because he came out of the Globetrotters.
Yep.
Him and Kennedy and all those guys. Kennedy was the first commissioner. He had dealings, so he felt that whatever he said would go. You just ran up against somebody that said no, and he couldn't understand how that could happen. And that was the fact that he said, okay, you'll see. They opened training camp. And I never went.
Yeah, I mean that had to throw him off with somebody telling him no for the first time, and but you
A
stood up for
black,
what you thought
a
was
black
right, which is
man,
great.
a black man telling him no.
Yeah,
Yeah. He
yeah,
got no from a lot of guys, but he never got it from a black guy.
yeah, unbelievable,
Yeah.
unbelievable. So now, what happened then? Now you obviously you didn't go to camp. So where did you play?
No, I played at Camden in
Okay,
the Eastern League.
okay,
And some kind of way, Red Holzman must have seen me playing ball. And I was working. And he said, they traded my rights from Philadelphia since they knew I wasn't going.
right,
Dolph Shays had called me and said, oh, you got to, no, not Dolph Shays, Johnny Kerr.
okay.
Johnny Kerr had called me and said, oh, you got to come to camp. I said, no, I ain't coming up there. Hershey, Pennsylvania. I said, no, so I ain't going. I said, you give me some money, I'll come up. Oh, you got to understand, you're a rook. Nah, I don't understand. So they traded my rights to the Knicks, and I went to the Knicks. And Ned Irish and oh, I can't, Marvin? No, not Marvin. I can't think of the other guy's name. When I walked into the garden, they said, we heard you're a tough guy. I said, no, I'm not a tough guy. He said, okay, we're going to give you X amount of dollars and we're not going to give you 12,500. Either take it or leave it. I said, okay.
There you go.
I'll sign.
There you go. And you played a couple of years with the Knicks. Now I know
Yeah.
you're involved with the NBA. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I'm going to go back to this. You've been around. Obviously, if you've been around the Nova Knicks, Jalen, Josh, and Mikhail a little bit, right?
I try and stay out, give them their space.
Do you give them the business a little bit though?
No, not really. They're on a different level. It's a different ball game. It's a different planet. I'm not looking for that glorification. I don't go to many Knick games. I'm not looking for that, oh, you used to play, sign my autograph kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm comfortable in my own skin. So I saw, was it Bridges?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Malik. Yeah. I work out at the PA. And
Okay.
he was up there working out one day before he hadn't, I guess it must have been last year because he was with Brooklyn. Then he
He
got
was with
traded.
Brooklyn before, yeah,
Yeah,
Mikhail.
so
with
that
Brooklyn,
year, I'm sorry, that session he got traded right before he went to camp. So I was teasing him. I said, make sure you have a good year because I want part of that paycheck. So he started laughing. But I never introduced myself as, yeah, I'm Tom Hoover. I played with the Knicks, and that was a part of my life. And yeah, okay, so what?
Well, you stand on the shoulders of those that came before you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Right? It's not just a college thing; it's a
and
program.
you're still a Wildcat though. I mean,
I'm wild, all right.
All right, let's move into the second part of our show. Let's segue into that.
Oh, okay. So you wind up playing a bunch of years for different teams all over the place, right? You played
Right.
for, right? So how do you befriend Wilt Chamberlain? Let's start there. How did that all come about?
We were my first year at Villanova, in Villanova, Sonny Hill, I met, and I'm sure all you guys know who Sonny
Oh
is.
yeah. How do you not
Yep.
know him if you know?
And we had a game. And he said, "You're going to play in this tournament." And I said, "What tournament?" So it was a game between New York and Philadelphia. Every year they have high school, junior, college, and pros. And I think this was the second year that this game was coming about. So I said, okay, I'll go up there and play. Um, and I was playing, and this was the first time I saw guys like Connie Hawkins, Jackie Jackson, Ed Zaw.
Jackie Jackson he played with the Globetrotters, right? Jumping
Yeah,
Jackie Jackson, right?
yeah,
Yeah, he
could
was
take
great.
50 cent off the backboard and leave a quarter.
That's right.
Yeah. So they had, and Roger Brown, that was their team. And
Wow.
it was me and me and me, some other guys playing in college. That's the first time I had ever seen guys that could play like that. So Wilt was standing under the basket on the fence because he was playing with the pros in the next game. And I heard this guy say, "Hey, Hoove, don't let them guys jump all over you like that. You got to fight back." And I turned around and looked, and it was Dip. I said, "Wow, Wilt Chamberlain knows my name."
Yeah.
And that's how we became. I started laughing and joking after the game with him. And we became friends. And he would take me back to school when I came down to see the Warriors play. He would drive me back out to Villanova and then take the cross, Pennsylvania, and then on up to New York because he was living in Philadelphia. I mean, in New York
And playing in Philly.
and playing in Philly. Yeah.
Wow.
He take you to his tailor, get some nice tailored threads.
No, I didn't go there. Like I said, I don't ask guys for things. I've never asked anybody for anything in my life. My mother always said, make sure you have your own 50 cent and your nickel then in your pocket so you can buy your own ice cream cone. So I never, everybody was after Wilt, do this, do that, do this, do that. Can I have this? And so it was like, no, man, I'm just gonna hang out with you. And we developed that kind of friendship. Um, he was the first guy that took me to Vegas. They built Caesars.
Oh
He
wow.
introduced me to those guys. We had a beautiful relationship. You call him up and say, well, we're going to do so and so and so and so. When they hung his jersey in Philly, we took him to dinner, Carl Green, myself, and oh, Jack DeFaris.
Okay.
In fact, I just looked up. I have a picture of myself, Wilt, Andy Johnson.
There you go. Oh, look at that.
I don't know whether you can see that.
Yeah, raise it just a
Just
little
hold it
bit.
up a
Raise
little
it to
bit.
your
There
chest.
you go.
Oh wow. That's a great photo, man.
So that's me on there. There's Dip. It's Carl Green. I think that's either Andy Johnson, Claude Gross, and I have to,
Wow.
yeah, and Jack DeFaris. Claude Gross, of course, was Dip's brother-in-law. You guys
Yeah.
didn't know that,
I
but
did not.
yeah,
No.
this
And
was
listen, that was Wilt Chamberlain was the reason I started playing. I mean, when I was my first team, I wore 13, my first game, and we got to meet him on the floor of the Palestra. He came out for something at a game, and he was larger than life in more ways than one, though, Tom,
oh,
right?
for
I mean,
sure.
everybody gravitated to him, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's no question. He was one of a kind. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I know guys that have been around him a lot, and they all say not even close. His strength and his agility and his athletic ability, second to none.
Not even close,
Not even
believe me.
close.
Not
Yeah.
even close.
I just saw something online actually that Magic Johnson used to run a pickup game at UCLA,
Yeah,
and Wilt was on the other team, and they're playing, and it got to be a controversial ending. You know how it is, like, and you're in the park, man.
sure.
Somebody's not happy at the end of the day, and he made a call on Wilt or something that might have been considered at that time a little soft. So Wilt said, okay, he grabbed four of the college guys. He said nobody's scoring, and he blocked every single shot. And Magic had guys like Worthy there, and
Yeah,
all these guys that were playing on Showtime and everything. And Wilt just blocked everything. And I think Wilt was in his like 42, 43 at the time.
yeah.
And I tell my kids, and I tell the kids that I've coached, you haven't seen this guy. The guy was incredible, right?
They don't know. And nobody understood. They talk about the GOAT and they say, oh, Michael Jordan, because he got 8 rings. If Dip had a team,
Yeah.
he would have had 28 rings.
Yeah.
He never had a team like Boston. Boston had Sam, Casey,
Oh.
Satch,
Yep.
Heinsohn,
All these guys are Hall
Havlicek,
of Famers.
all of these guys, of course. Dip had, and nothing against Hal Lear and
Oh, Greer,
Guy
yeah.
Rogers and Hal Greer and those
Yeah.
guys. But I mean, Paul Arison, nothing against Arison, but Arison couldn't keep up with those guys.
Yeah,
So
no,
he
I
never
agree.
really had a team. If he had a team,
Harrison played in that game when Wilt dropped 100
yeah, at Hershey.
matter of fact, before he passed, at Hershey, before he passed, I got to talk with him about that a little bit, and he was telling me how they fed Wilt the ball. I think Harrison might have been the second leading scorer in that game, like 15 or 16 or something.
Could have been
But
Paul,
I
yeah.
mean, we sat down and talked with, at one of these Villanova events, he was there, and
Hmm.
I loved all the old basketball, all the guys from that era, because that's when I started to really love the game at that point, watching
Got
these
it.
guys play.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this, I never drove in a purple Cadillac convertible like you.
White shag rugs.
Holy smoke. Talk about that for a minute. Purple Cadillac convertible, son.
Yeah, that was Dips.
Look, he don't want to draw attention to himself. He's riding around in that, right?
Well, you knew who it was, at least in
It's
the
like
community.
Batman coming up. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, because Sugar Ray had a pink one. So Dip had to have a purple one. Yeah, you knew who he
Wow.
was.
Wow.
You
And,
didn't have to have a vanity plate.
that,
Car
that was the vanity plate, Sonny.
Yeah, holy smokes.
The car was all you needed.
That's all you
That's
needed.
unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that is crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now you got to talk about a couple of these other guys. You and I talked about it briefly, but you were trying to be a stand-up comic at one point. Come on, man.
Which actually, that's what my daughter does
And
for a living.
You
so
got to
I
tell.
want her-
First
really?
of all,
she is.
tell
Yeah.
Sonny the story, Tom, about because his daughter is a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
So tell Sonny the story about walking into the dressing room in the Playboy Club when you were on tour with those guys. Tell him who was in there and how that went down.
No, that wasn't a Playboy Club. I was playing with the Knicks, and I used to always do a lot of stuff in the community. So a friend of a friend felt that I could be, because I had done some modeling. So he felt that I could be a comedian. So he said, okay, we're going to write some material and blah, blah, blah. And so I said, okay. Long story short, he worked at the Playboy clubs. He was the manager at the Playboy clubs. And he got me on the Playboy circuit, playing all of the Playboy clubs. Well, I
Right.
said, hey, what the hell? I can work the whole summer and I'm going to get paid for this. So I used to do this thing for the tissues. They had a foundation, and they were toys Christmas in July, and they
Okay.
would hold it at the Apollo Theater. And I was the guy that was always up there doing things in the community. So I said, okay, I'll do this. And they said, hey, we hear you going to be a comedian or you're doing this. Honey Cole said, okay, we're going to let you work one night on amateur night. And I said, okay. And I went out amateur night. I did my thing. And my funniest joke was I was so big, I brought my mother home from the hospital. That was a funny joke.
Yeah.
But I looked in the back and there was Cosby, Flip Wilson, Richard Pryor,
Yeah.
and they were sitting in corners writing material down. I had two guys writing for me. They were writing their own stuff. And then when I looked and saw them doing what they were doing and making the delivery, I was like, this is not going to work, my brother. You are not funny. These guys are funny.
Well,
You-
that's the Mount Rushmore of
That's
comedy.
the Mount
right?
Rushmore.
Yeah, and
Of
then
course.
I used to play a place called Peps in the Village.
Mm-hmm.
Lenny Bruce.
Oh my God.
wow.
Nobody knew, I mean, I didn't know who but he was like, I said, I'm not this, these guys are funny.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. So that was an introduction and an exit quickly.
So you figured at that point, instead of sticking with the stand-up, you'll go into managing Richard Pryor. Is that what happened?
No, there was a lot of things in between. A friend of mine, Sam McKeith, at that time, everything was becoming involved. The black exploitation films were taking off. Sam McKeith was working at an agency called William Morris. And he was working for a guy in William Morris called Amos. What is Amos's last name? Anyhow, he's better known for Famous Amos, the cookies.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's who Sam was working for. First, you have to work in the mailroom before you can become and work for someone. And he was working in the mailroom, and we were at dinner or somewhere one night in the bar, and he said, "Hey, you want to go on the road?" I said, "For what?" He said, "Oh, well, Richard Pryor." I said, "Who's Richard Pryor?" He said, "No, Richard Pryor." I said, "You mean the Richard Pryor?" He said, "Yeah, but that was before he had bloomed." So I said, "Okay, I'll take it." And I got on the road and worked with him.
So you got to give us a couple of the stories.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That you could tell, Tom.
You can't leave
I know
that.
who you're dealing with.
You
He
can't
was one
finish
of the
that
greatest ever, man.
You can't just leave that hanging there.
You can't leave that hanging like that, man, like a big matzo ball out there.
That's
Come
some
on.
low-hanging fruit right there.
You can't pick it though.
Oh, come on. I want a little nibble.
No, you have to. First of all, he's a genius.
Yeah.
One of the funniest guys I've ever been around. We would go to dinner, and you would have to eat everything quickly because he would give one-liners about people around where he was or where we were eating, and you would just burst out laughing and the food would come out. Most artists are very temperamental, and you build relationships and they come to depend on you because you really are the only person that they can trust because they see you 24/7. Now, you try and have a life, but there is none. Yeah, there's stories to tell about him. 25, 31 nighters in a row, maybe 40 with Earth, Wind, and Fire. Never tells the same joke twice.
That's incredible.
Delivers it a certain way. Um, just an incredible guy, but an eccentric. I mean, just crazy. One night we were in Hydesville, in Baltimore, Baltimore, somewhere. And he says, I said, you need a change of clothes because you want to sweat on stage. No, I don't need a change of clothes. Yeah, you need a change of clothes. That kind of exchange back and forth. We go to I drive to the concert. We drive there together. Never sat in the back, always sat in the front with me. You sat in the back. I was going to sit in the back with you, but if I was driving, he sat up front. If we had a driver, we both sat back there. So, long story short, he says, gets on the stage, sweats. He says, I need to change of clothes. I said, I told you to bring some.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Go back to the hotel and get me a change of clothes. That was like, okay, I can see where this is going.
Right. Right.
So you have no independence because you are there 24/7. And that's basically what you are. You're the last person they see at night because you want to make sure they're in, and the first person they see in the morning because you want to make sure they're up so that they can do what they have to do.
Yeah.
And it becomes a dependency. And I guess he said to me one day, he said, okay, you got to move to LA. I said, I hate LA. I'm not coming out there. And that went on back and forth, back and forth. And he said, finally, it's like, no, you got to move to LA. And I said, well, I guess we're going to part as friends. I'm not coming to LA.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow. Was he switched on all the time? Like,
Just like you sitting there talking. It's not a switch when you're a genius. It's just natural.
yeah.
And that's why I knew I wasn't funny, because he could sit at the table and pick people out and say something funny about each one of them, and you would laugh. So it's not a switch that he was on. It's just natural, and that separates you from everybody else. It's just like George Carlin. It's
Yeah.
just natural.
Well, they say him and Carlin are two of the greatest ever to do it, right?
You better believe it.
Wow.
Carlin took the same, I mean, just simple things, and turn them into, and you think about it, and it's funny. Richard did the same thing. There was nothing great about it. Was just the delivery and the things that you wouldn't think of, and he would say it, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a tough ending. It was hard to see him, suffer like he did at the end, man.
What, running down the street on fire?
Well, I wasn't talking about that, but I mean,
No, because he recovered from that.
he
Yeah.
recovered from that. But I
Well,
mean,
he recovered from
heard
that.
him tell that story, Tom. That's incredible. And then, so
But if you know, when you hear, when you have been with someone for so long, you kind of know their idiosyncrasies. You kind of know them. Yeah, it's hard because you're on the outside looking in. But when you really sit there and say, this guy's crazy enough, something like that, yeah, he did it.
yeah,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable when you get so high and you look up there and you see that shit and you say, oh shit, I'm on fire. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's crazy. I agree.
Yeah.
But
I-
I remember they did like a special for him, and Eddie Murphy and everybody
Yeah.
paid homage. I thought that was really cool, but I felt bad because he had the MS and he was in the chair at the time. It was
Right.
tough.
Yeah. Well, he was a shell of himself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, I mean, the last good thing that happened to him was Harlem Nights. We made the movie with Eddie
With Eddie.
Murphy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And after that, it was,
And Red Fox was in that too, right? There's
Right.
another
Della
guy.
Reese, Red Fox.
Yeah,
I
Della
mean,
Reese too. She was
yeah,
great. Yeah.
Gregory Hines
all
too.
those guys were, they were comedians, man.
Oh
You're
yeah.
not funny. Those guys were funny.
Yeah. Yep. You're not kidding.
Yeah.
And then you worked a little bit with Natalie Cole and the Spinners too, right?
Natalie, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Um,
She could really sing, huh?
she could sing.
Yeah, like her dad. Holy
Yeah,
smokes.
she
They were
could
good.
sing. And, Natalie was a terrific talent, beautiful lady. But you come to, when you're out there with them 365 days of the year, you have no life because your life is their life because they're
Right.
depending on you to do everything that they need to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be tough.
It's very tough.
No one prepped you for that, I'm sure, when you took the job.
No, you don't get prepped. It's just something that you figure it out.
As you
And
go.
as you go, and you better be good at it. Otherwise, you're not going to be there.
Well, that's why you got involved, because your heart was in it.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
What was Joe Frazier like, man?
I was just gonna say, get into that.
My
and
man, Smoking Joe.
that fight, Tom, Sonny and I talk a lot about the Big East Championship weekend, the Final Four weekend at the Garden, and what the buzz is like in the street. But the buzz of all buzzes was that fight with Ali and Frazier at the Garden, man. I mean,
Yeah.
guys like Nelson Mandela were there. Frank Sinatra's taking photographs for Life magazine. And you were what?
Yeah.
You were working with the boxing commission?
I was a inspector. That's how I started before I became the chairman. I started as an inspector. John Condon.
Yeah, he
Do you
introduced
remember?
us. Yeah, that was the voice of the Garden, man.
Yeah.
When he introduced you, you felt like you made it because I watched all those Knicks teams in the 70s. So did Sonny,
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, John was the director of boxing. I used to hang at the Garden with John. John was the only guy that after the game, he would take me to dinner. He and his wife would go out to dinner. We would always eat in an Italian place down in the village. We became good friends. And he was the publicity director for the Garden. And at that time, there was a guy called Emil Griffith, who was a boxer.
Yep, I remember him.
And Howie Albert and Gil Clancy were his managers. And I had probably had a fight in LA, I think, with Nelson or the whole team. And they asked me to come to the gym to see if I wanted to be a boxer. And I said, okay, no problem. Give me 250,000 and I'll be there. And they laughed and I laughed. And they said, no, we're serious. And I said, yeah, so am I. So John was standing there and he said, you don't want to get into this game. It's too dirty. And he introduced me to Marvin Coyne, who said, I'm going to make you an inspector. I said, okay. And the first fight was Joe Frazier.
That was your first ever fight.
Mm-hmm.
Holy smokes. You can only go downhill from there, Tom.
Talk about starting slow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was great.
So now
it's great.
Okay, you got to take us through this because this was a big deal. And back in the day, we didn't get the pay-per-views at our house where I grew up. And so you had to wait till Wide World of Sports with Howard Cosell to see what actually happened. And I would watch it all the time. I'd watch all the fights that Ali had in particular and Frazier,
Mm-hmm.
So you get this thing. So you realize where you're going. I mean, it was the talk of everybody was talking about it. So you had to know.
Yeah, but it was just,
I know it was another day at work for you. So you had no idea of
you had an idea of the magnitude of it.
Yeah, right.
There's no question. You knew the magnitude of it. But the excitement is there because now you have two of the greatest athletes
Oh,
that ever lived are going to go and prove who's the best. On one side, a guy is fighting out of his prime because he lost 3 years before that fight. They wouldn't let him fight.
you wouldn't let him fight, right?
So you don't know how good he really is. But he was speaking for a new generation.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was there to promote him because they felt Joe was of the old generation. But little did they know Joe was a beautiful person, individual, inside and out. And to come out the way he came out and come up the way he came up and to turn himself into something was a beautiful thing to see.
What
Yeah,
what did you make of all of the, the antics, and especially from Ali to Joe?
it was just all showmanship.
It was all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all
Because a lot of
BS.
people have made a big issue out of that years later.
Selling
We're
tickets,
just
man.
wondering what the vibe was back then.
Selling tickets.
But
Well,
nobody could keep up with Muhammad. I mean, like
No,
he
you
was,
try. Yeah, you couldn't even. I mean,
he
that was
made everybody
crazy.
look small.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like Dip was going to fight him. So
yeah,
I said,
I saw photos of that.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Dip.
saw.
So we were in the club one night. He was saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna fight him, man." I said, "Look, we can get this money." He said, he looked at me and said, "What you mean we?" I said, "Me and you. I'm gonna manage you." So he started laughing. He said, "Yeah, okay, Hoove." So uh, Ali was in the garden training for Zorro Foley,
Okay.
and he was in the ring, and he saw Fred Crawford and myself. We were standing. We had just walked downstairs. He says, "Yeah, they're them spies for that big tall dummy. I'm gonna get you. You go back uptown and tell him I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna whip him. And as soon as I finish my workout, I'm gonna give you something to take uptown to him." So he went on for about 15, 20 minutes. And then he finished, came over to the ring, leaned down in my face and threw about 15 jabs before I could blink.
Yeah.
He said, "Take that back uptown to that big dummy." So
Oh
I
my
went back uptown. I told Dip, I said, "You're going to get your ass beat."
God.
So just be prepared.
Wow.
Yeah, he was
That's crazy.
fast. He
Yeah,
was
you get to
great. He
stand in
was
front of that.
fast.
Oh
And
my
you saw it when you were close, you could see how fast in that corner that night of that fight, you could see how fast he was. But you also saw the determination and the relentlessness of Frazier. I'm gonna get you. In
He
his
got him with that big left hook.
Yeah, but that whole thought process throughout the whole fight was, I'm gonna get you. You talk all the crap you want, I'm gonna get you. And he caught him with that left hook. But you also saw Ali's resilience because he bounced right back up. And I was like,
You had to
wow,
be like, what? Yeah,
this
I'm
guy.
gonna.
Yeah, he had a
Yeah,
strong chin,
yeah.
appreciated.
The one hook he hit him, he bounced off the ropes. That kept him up. The one, but didn't he break? Did he break Ali's jaw in that?
Broke his jaw.
Yeah, and Joe wound up going to the hospital.
Yeah. Ali wanted to go to the hospital too. He probably went, but they kept it hush hush
Oh yeah.
of the invincibility. You know, he didn't hurt me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he hurt you because I felt those hooks
Oh, I bet you
and I
did.
was standing outside the ring.
You
So,
you couldn't have had a better. You talk about a ringside seat, Tom.
yeah.
Do you ever think
But
back at that and like what you? I mean, what was your job during the fight? Just you had to just make sure that everything was kosher on that side of
that's what you were supposed to be doing. But I was so engrossed in the fight.
the.
But
I would have been too. I mean, how
Yeah,
could you not be?
Yank Durham, who was his trainer, you knew everything was on the up and up. They weren't trying to slip him anything or do anything of that nature. He was on the up and up. So you get it, that kind of a fight you get involved in emotionally, you're watching it because you want to see which guy is going to really come out on top.
Yeah, the whole world
So
was
it was
watching
good.
that
Yeah.
fight. I mean, that was unbelievable. And that
Yeah.
the whole scene. I mean, you know, like I said earlier, you know, everybody talks about the buzz of that Final Four thing. That wasn't even close to how the whole city was talking about that, you know?
Nobody, I haven't seen an event yet that came close to that first fight because the whole country,
Yeah.
this was the beginning of um, the ending. Malcolm was there, very prominent. Um, Martin Luther King was there, very prominent. And there were two facets of that struggle, of our struggle. And all of those factors came into play. That was the beginning because all of white America wanted to see Joe Frazier lose and see Ali get beat. And all black America wanted to see Ali beat Joe Frazier.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a very strong situation.
Yeah. The enormity of that, you know, it has to hit you at some point, you know, that how what a big deal it was. I mean, I can't even imagine being there.
Yeah.
It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. It was good. It was good action. Thank you, John Condon. Love you.
Yeah, man, I bet you do.
Yeah,
Rest in peace, John Condon. So
no question.
so now what are you doing now? You're still working with the NBA, right? With the
With the Retired Players Association, yeah,
So
I
talk
run.
about what you're doing because I think this is really cool, Tom. I mean, you're helping guys get their second chapter in life after basketball, right?
Right. Well, we've done a lot of things. We've gotten some money allocated for. We lobbied to get some money allocated for the ABA guys, which they did. We've got a very good health plan. Could be better. Adam could be better. That'll cover the next collective bargaining agreement. But you try and help, and not that I'm a zillionaire, but you try and help guys that really aren't doing as well as you are. I've been blessed. I'm still blessed and just fortunate to be able to have lived the life that I live. So somebody that needs a little help, hey, what's the big deal? And we look at that and we take care of, we do a lot of things along the mental health with kids, which I think is important because people
Yeah,
forget them. We run the esports program at every all-star game, which teaches high school kids coding and AI and how to put these video games together. We do a lot of work with, like I said, handicap, mentally challenged. I'll put it like that. Mentally challenged kids, because nobody has the time. They don't want to be bothered. But it's necessary because they like games too. They like sports too. They like things. And everybody is in such a hurry because it's a me society that they don't look at other kids and other people and things that they could do. You know, they go to a buffet and fill up a plate full of food and then eat two scoops and throw the rest away. And what they do, that could feed a zillion kids. But people don't care, man. So we try and care. We try and take care of our own. You played this game, we're going to try and help you out as best we can. Do a lot of things with kids, a lot of kids.
that's great.
This All-Star and our last All-Star, San Francisco, we had the esports day game at University of California, Berkeley. This year, we're going to do it, hopefully at USC if they can get their act together. And trying to work on some situations with Sony to have the kids go on the back lot and have some classes in video programming and what it goes on behind the camera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I do now.
That's all great, Tom. And Sonny said it before, you know, he mentioned it, you know, you have a tremendous heart to be able to do all the things that you do to help the people you have in the course of your lifetime. It's tremendous. And and my hat's off to you, man. Great
Thank
job.
you.
Great job by you. And how do you keep up your energy for all this? That's what I want to know. What fountain of youth have you jumped into to do what you do? I mean, that's
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can join me up at the gym.
What are you still shooting around playing, or do you still, or are you?
No, I just
working
work,
out? Oh, do you?
stretch. Yeah, a couple hours stretch, hot tub, lift, and try and keep it together
Stretching's the key, right, to the operation,
to
right?
the
I'm
key.
finding that out the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Once you lose the mobility, you're in trouble.
yep, yep.
You're in big trouble. So
Well, I got to say, this is one of my favorite shows to date. I really appreciate you taking time to hang out with
my
us.
pleasure, no problem.
And listen,
you.
I got to get you. When was the last time you were back on campus?
When Howard passed,
Oh, really?
Howard, boy, won the championship with them, with Nova.
You talking about Porter?
Howard Porter.
Yeah, when he went to the
Yeah,
final.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
71, man. I'm just.
yeah. So when they had the memorial, when he
Oh,
passed
okay.
away,
Yep.
Jay Wright, I saw, invited me down, and I went.
Yeah. We got to get you back on campus. There's a new regime, and it's he's very welcoming. So I'm just saying, I'll stay in touch with you. I'll
Do
grab you.
that.
I'll grab you at 30th Street Station. You're in the city. Meet me at the
Yeah.
station. I'll take you in. We'll have a good time. I know that a lot of the guys would love to meet you and have conversations with you.
Well,
So we
I
got to do that.
appreciate the offer, and if I got it, you got it. No
100%.
problem.
You got it, pal.
Okay,
you.
buddy.
Well,
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Tom.
thanks again for joining us.
Take care,
Thank
Sonny.
you.
You've been listening to and watching the Big East Rewind with Chuck Everson and Sonny Sparrow. The Big East Rewind is produced and directed by Nick Chico Chorus, Daryl Gurney, and James Hapt. You can check us out on the SiriusXM app, on YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.